All right. Hello, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for joining us today for another amazing day for the Pet Lovers Summit. I want to introduce to you today the amazing Nancy Mello. Nancy, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into, I'll just say what you're doing right now.
Thanks so much for having me. So I grew up on a small farm in Northern California, and I grew up really around nature as my friend. So I grew up with a few animals on the farm, although we were an agricultural farm. And we would actually, in our part of California, we would actually have people that would unfortunately drop off their animals on the side of the road. And they seem to always make their way back to me. And even my mom would say, like, animals just seem to know how to find you, that they always seem to find me. And so it started at a very young age. I knew that I was a medium very, very early on. I was having imaginary friends and I was talking to my grandparents and stuff. The animal stuff really was a lot more fluid and a lot more natural, whereas the mediumship was very fearful for a young girl and a young woman who was now speaking to dead people. But the animal component, it just seemed like I seemed to be at the right place at the right time for certain animals. I remember being in my early 20s and just parking my car at my apartment complex. And I saw this guy kind of walking suspiciously away from a dumpster. And I remember getting out, and I'm not confrontational. I'm not usually confrontational. And I heard something and I asked him, I said, what were you doing? And he was throwing a puppy in the dumpster. But if I hadn't been right then, right there, and looking back, I should have called the police. But I saved the puppy, and he said something like, and this is in Central California, he says, well, it's pit bull. It's just going to be put down. And I contacted another rescue, and it turned out to not be pit bull at all. And it turned out to be the sweetest girl. But if the universe hadn't led me to be right there in that moment.
Yes.
And I actually haven't ever told that story on air. So it's funny that that's coming to my mind now, but that's kind of how it started. I believe we're all led to be in certain places at certain times. And I think we were even talking about this off air. And so that's kind of how it's been a natural evolution in terms of the animal communication, and as well as my work with lost animals.
Yes. Oh, and I forgot to mention, today's episode is called Listening Mindfully with a Lost Pet. I'm going to say that again. Listening mindfully with a lost pet. So Nancy, tell us, why is this important and what exactly does it mean?
So I was inspired to helping to find missing pets when I lost my own lab shepherd mix 3 years ago. We had just adopted her. Her name is Abby. We had just adopted her literally that afternoon, and she took off. It was 2 days before New Year's Eve, and she took off. And I seemed to understand. I knew where she was. I could feel where she was. But because she had just come up from the South, she had been in a shelter for her first full year of life. So she didn't know what a home was. She didn't know anything. And I could tell that she was nearby, but I also could tell that she did not trust us at all. And so thankfully we found her after 8 days, and it was through a lot of work of trusting. At one point I did see her and she was about 30 feet from me. And instinctually, one of the things they tell you if you lose a pet is don't scream out their name. Well, I saw her 30 feet away and I went, Abby! Of course she ran the other way. We ended up finding her, but that experience taught me, I didn't eat or sleep for 8 days. I would walk. I think I walked on my Fitbit or whatever, like 30,000 steps a day. I was walking 2 a.m., any day and night I was walking, trying to get my scent down and find her. But that experience taught me how vulnerable I was and how much I depended on other people during that time.
Yes.
And so from that experience, it was just one of those things where I was right place at the right time with my first missing pet that I helped find. A dog on Long Island that happened to be diabetic. And I happened to be getting out of the shower at the time. It was right before COVID, like 2 days before everything shut down. And I was getting out of the shower and someone DM'd me and said, "You help missing pets?" And I was like, no. And know that I don't really do that. And she said, please, he's diabetic. It's been, 6 days, 5 days, he's going to die. And
Oh my gosh.
I said, oh hell. And I said, well, I see a dirt road and I feel like he's stuck. And I remember the response was, dirt road, we live on Long Island, there's no dirt roads around here.
Yeah.
And I worked with them that night, and then I worked with them the next morning, and I kept seeing that Ollie was stuck. And so I worked with Ollie to actually, I knew that he was going to have to basically like break something, or he was going to have to get out. He was going to have to really, what do you call it? Like pop your shoulder or pop your hip out. And so I just kept telling him, get out. Cause he was near death and I could feel it. And I just said, get out. And sure enough, that morning, and I remember the date, cause it was the date everything started shutting down. Ollie was found at the end of a dirt road on the outside. Cause I kept seeing like a red bench, it turned out to be a red shed. And he was outside dazed in a diabetic coma, almost diabetic coma. And the sad thing is, or the crazy thing is, the owners in the community had walked down this road before, but he had been stuck inside. And so actually, I still speak to the family to this day, although I still haven't met them because of COVID, but they are. And what's crazy is I'm a mystic in Mystic, and that's right across. It's a stone's throw away from Long Island. You can take a ferry, and I still haven't met them, but Ollie is still going strong. He was in the hospital for about a week, but he made a full recovery. And I get messages from Ollie's family, and I mean, they will always be close to my heart. Anytime I see a message, I'm like, because it's just, I have a wall of all my missing pets that I've helped find. And he kind of has this place of honor, but Ollie started it, and it just started from there. And it was one of those things where I had no idea, you don't know what you can do until you try. And it just snowballed from there. And I realized that if I could help these animals, if I could connect with people soon enough, we could get them home. And that's what started. And now in the last 2.5 years, I've helped find over 101 pets, including a mini mule, a goat, a hamster, quite the mix, and a parrot.
Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. Yes, I was going to ask you, because I knew what the number was that was on your website. 101 lost, missing pets found again because of you, because you listened to the universe and you opened yourself up.
Saying it's because of me. I like to say that I helped. I never want to, because that's ego, right? If I did this, and I always want to check it. It's not me. It's the universe working through me. It's just like when Abby was missing, it wasn't one person that found her. It was the whole community that got together.
Yes.
So I'm just part of a team, similar to if there was a missing person, it's part of a team. And I'm happy to be a part of those missing teams that help find it. But it's definitely, I don't ever want to take the credit, but that's why I'm excited to share this with you, because I know what I went through and what helped me and what helps my clients. And sometimes it is, sometimes we have those kind of come to Jesus conversations where it's just like, okay, all right, we feel like we're up here and we're just, because all our adrenaline, and we can't help it, our adrenaline just skyrockets. We just want to help find our baby. And I've heard it all. I get messages almost daily. I've lost my pet. They're diabetic. They're 16, they're 17. And I have every story, and I completely understand, because you just panic as a pet owner. So hopefully this exercise that we do today can help you just bring it down, because your pet can feel that energy. And we were talking about this offline, is that I recall when Abby was missing for me, that there were times when I know she was like, what is that energy you were throwing at me? Because animals can feel that. They can feel your stress. They can feel if you have that heightened alert. And sometimes that can actually, unfortunately, push them farther away. You gotta come at it. And what I've seen the most success with is when you come at it with just calm and peace. Is there a guarantee you will find them? Absolutely not. But I will tell you, you will feel a lot better doing it, and your adrenaline and your heart will thank you.
Yes. That's so true. And I know you mentioned this before, is stuff that we were talking about before this interview, and I was saying that I had a very similar experience. Probably most pet owners at some point have. But I was living on a farm in Oregon. My daughter and I had moved from Pennsylvania in an apartment to a farm in Oregon. And our two kitties, who had been indoor cats, they were around 1.5 at the time, had only been apartment cats, but we were working on them being indoor outdoor kitties. And we had already leashed them. We walked them around the farm several times to get familiar with the smells and the sounds. And we were prepping them to get out. And one day, one of them just took off. We lived in a little 200 square foot cabin, so it was like, I knew it was going to happen eventually. And I was like, just let him go. It's time. And I was training them to come back when I whistled, which, by the way, herding cats isn't as complicated as people think. I've done it. It happens. You just treat them when they come home. So anyway, it was literally probably the second day they were outside, and I was still in the process of training them to come back. Now, we were in Oregon, and there are coyotes in Oregon that come out at night. And so I was really avid about, like, not only I would call them back midday so they didn't get too far, but also when they went out again, I would call them in before it got dark, because that's when the coyotes started coming out. The rain hit really hard. Rain and wind was coming sideways. One kitty came back, one kitty didn't.
Oh, no.
And I was panicking. I was feeling that panic. And, my brain was like, he's flat on the side of the road. A coyote ate him, a raccoon got him, he fell in a hole, he's doing this, and the mind is just awful in those moments of panic. And for me, being psychic, I'm like, is this a psychic image? Am I just projecting?
Yeah.
And then, after about probably 4 hours of that panic, I was like, I am never going to be able to connect with him as a psychic, as a pet communicator, unless I calm myself down. So I just sat myself down and I was like, okay, that's it. We're breathing. And as soon as I did, and I know this is what we're talking about, this is the segue. As soon as I calmed myself, I connected with him immediately. He told me where he was. I could see him. I could see through his eyes. He was telling me that the wind was too strong and he couldn't find his way back. The wind was sweeping away. It's the sense that he needed to get home. And he wasn't familiar enough with the landscape to find his way back visually. I could see that he was under a porch, and I knew he was okay. He was like back up against a house. So I was like, just stay there until it stops raining and you feel like you can find your way back. Just stay there. And he's like, I want to come home. I just kept telling him, just stay until you know you can make it, because I didn't want him out running, just wandering around. And I had a sense of where he was, but it was, we're surrounded by farms, and I didn't just want to like walk up to this house and be like, my cat's under your porch and I'm just gonna, because people carry guns, and I didn't know. I was like, so long story short, 2:00 in the morning, a soaking wet cat was screaming on the patio. He was home, he was meowing, he found his way back, and I was like, and I never would have been able to calm myself or connect or even help calm him down if I did not get myself mindful and breathe. And I know this is where you are leading us today. And it's so important for all of us to stay centered and focused when our animals need us most.
Well, and that's an interesting point about you need to center yourself, because animals are panicked as well when they're lost. Like, we don't think about that component, that when our animals are missing. I mean, sometimes cats are like, hey, I'm eating the grass over here. I mean, you'll have animals that are having a good old time, at least at first.
Oh yeah.
But there will be a time when they go, oh no, like, what did I do? Like, where am I? This is not good.
Yes.
This is not good. So then they're getting their adrenaline and their anxiety. And if you're already feeling it, and then they're feeling it, like they're trying to, so animals have the ability to connect with us. So if they're trying to find their way back to us and we're like this, then they're not going to be able to grab on. So they need us to be, this is a great example. But it's just, so they need us to be calm. It's similar to if you're a parent and your child is sick, let's say you have to take your child to the hospital, and you, of course, unfortunately, if you've ever been in that situation, I know I have, and you're just going, oh my God. And you're like, but you can't show that to your kid. You can't, because if you show that you're fearful to your kid's going to be like, get me out of here. So no, you have to be like, everything is okay. You're in a safe place. And that's essentially what we're doing with this exercise, is we are calming ourselves down to tell our child that they are safe. Because if they feel safe, then we can lead them. Then we have a clear line of communication, but it's not clear. And it's similar to when we're in readings, right? We've got to be in a good mental state, both of us, the person that's doing the session and the person receiving the session, or else it's not going to happen.
Right.
The same thing. So that's why I mean, I am a big believer. I have God bless my therapist. She's been through so much with me. And she told me for years, meditate. I don't meditate. But I will tell you, from one anti-meditation person that has seen the light, like, it doesn't have to be woo-woo, right? We're not talking about, I see clouds and crap like that. It doesn't have to be all, what you think of as stereotypical meditation. It can just be focusing on the breath, but even just harnessing the breath can make a world of difference. I don't know if anyone has like an Apple Watch. Watch your watch and just see, just even like counting in the breath can make a huge difference. So it doesn't have to be some production, and you don't have to be like this and take an Instagram photo, and it doesn't have to be
incense and music.
Exactly. Peace and namaste. You don't, and you're not thinking about that when you're missing a pet anyway. You're just trying to think. And that's why it's like, okay, forget the woo-woo, forget all the pretty music in the background. You just need something fast and easy that we can just breathe.
Yes, we need to breathe and keep ourselves connected. That's so cute. And I love that you were saying, you did that analogy about when our kids are sick too, because I remember the same thing. And it's not even, not showing your kids that you're not panicked, because kids can feel just as animals can feel.
Yes.
If you are panicked and you're just saying you're not panicked. It's really definitely just finding your center, being focused and breathing and trusting, which is huge. And it's hard when we're up here. We're up here a lot, and dropping down into here is the exercise that you're going to walk us through today, right? You're going to talk to us about how can we stay mindful with a lost pet? What do we do? What's the first step?
So the first step is, when you feel yourself, when your adrenaline goes, the first thing that happens is you have a physical response, and everyone is a little different. I know when I start feeling my adrenaline, I feel it in my quads, but you're going to feel it somewhere in your body. Sometimes it's your shoulders. So the first thing you're going to do is just kind of shake it out. You're going to shake your wrists out. You're going to shake your arms out. You're going to shake your legs out. You're just going to kind of shake out like one of those wind sockets at the car dealerships. You're just going to kind of shake it out. Feels really silly, but just shake it out, because who knows, like, wherever you feel that tension, you're just going to shake it out. And that's why it's just, you'll roll your wrists, and, it's almost like you're in the 70s, and you're just kind of, like dancing.
Oh yeah, baby.
Relaxing.
Let's do it.
And just shaking, relaxing. And then once you kind of shake it out and you feel your body your body's going to be like, what the hell are you doing, man? So it's going to forget that it's like super stressed, because it's like, what are you doing? And now you're going, what the hell am I doing? And what is this lady talking about? Because she just maybe do some weird moves. And then what you're going to do is you're going to breathe in for a count of 4 through your nose. And you're going to hold it for a count of 4. And then you're going to breathe out for a count of 4. And you're going to do that about 4 times. Makes it easy. 4, 4, 4.
Box breathing.
And then what we're going to do, once you do the count of 4 for 4 times, then really easy. And this is stuff you can remember afterwards. So you don't need this video. It's awesome to watch it and you can repeat it. But then we're going to go into 3. So we have 4. Now we're going to go into 3. So you're going to keep your eyes closed, and you're going to say 3 things that you can hear, 3 things that you can feel physically, and 3 things that you smell. Now the smell might be a little difficult, but the key is, that's why you're trying to kind of tune in. So you're going to start with 3, hear, feel, smell. Once you do that, you're going to go to 2 things that you hear, see, hear, feel, smell, and then 1, hear, feel, smell. I was thinking C because you could also add on the C, but we're doing this. It works with this ladder function that we're doing right here. So
Yeah.
so you're doing 3. And once you go through that 3 times,
Okay.
the last thing that you're going to do is you are going to close your eyes, and I want you to picture yourself in the happiest state you've ever been in the past. Maybe that's giving birth to your children. Maybe it is when you met your spouse for the first time. Maybe you ran a triathlon and that was your achievement. Maybe it's when you bought your house. Whatever it is, and it's going to be different for everyone, I want you to see yourself there in that moment. And when you picture yourself in that moment, still breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, I want you to start to notice little details about that memory. What were you wearing? What was the weather like? Was your hair in a ponytail? Was it clean? Did it need to be washed? What shoes were you wearing? Start noticing little details about that memory. Still breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Now I want you to see if you can put yourself in that memory. Can you feel your shoes on? Or maybe your shoes in this, or your feet in the sand. If one of your happy memories is in the sand, feel yourself in that moment. Feel the jean jacket on your back. Can you smell anything in the memory? Maybe you smell fresh cooked broccoli. If that's in your favorite memory ever, maybe it's
I love broccoli.
The salt air.
Yeah.
The salt air. And what do you hear in this memory? Do you hear maybe the waves? Maybe you hear a plane overhead. And it doesn't matter if this memory is exact. So if you feel like, well, maybe a plane wasn't there, it's not about thinking too deeply about, am I actually recreating, but what is that moment looking back look for you right now? And if you feel any other thoughts creeping in your head, I want you to just let them pass overhead, just like a cloud, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Just feel yourself in that moment. What are you saying? What are you doing? What are your hands doing? Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. I want you in that moment to smile wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I want you to smile. And I want you to feel the love that surrounded you in that moment. The feeling of maybe accomplishment, the pride perhaps that you felt, the joy. Allow those positive feelings to soak in you and fill you up like a balloon, slowly inflating. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Find yourself in that moment. Feel your feet firmly on the ground or wherever that moment is. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. If you have any thoughts or any sounds coming in the background, allow them to pass, just like a cloud overhead. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Any sounds that you're hearing, just allow it to pass over. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Keep that feeling with you, that happy, peaceful feeling with you. Now, I want you to send that to your pet.
Beautiful.
So I'm gonna ask you to close your eyes one more time, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. I want you to picture your pet, say their name, and I want you to send that peace, that joy that you just filled up your own balloon, And I want you to let those emotions out of the balloon and give it to your pet. Tell them they are safe, they are wanted, they are needed, they are loved. Give them that love and positivity. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. You can open your eyes. Now, you can do this exercise again and again. You can pick different moments. Whenever you feel yourself start to panic, you can even cut this down to just the box breathing, the 4 or 4, or you can break it down to what you would call grounding, which is generally it's 4 things you see, hear, feel, smell. So you can do parts of this, or you can do the whole thing. But what I love doing, because I'm a very visual person, and if you are visual, and if you aren't, I would stick with the box breathing as well as the grounding. But if you're visual, picturing yourself in that happy moment really just gives your brain and your heart a little bit of a break.
Mm-hmm. That is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for walking us through that. And I love that, just stepping back from it, seeing you're showing people how to get out of their head and into their body. So bringing their attention out of their mind that's running around and going crazy, and then following that up with being in the heart and feeling love and feeling joy and filling ourselves up, and then communicating that to our pets. That's amazing. I absolutely love that. That's so beautiful. And I understand that this is something that you're gonna, is it this exact thing that you're gonna share as your free gift to your viewers?
It will be similar.
Similar. Okay. Nancy, that was so amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that information with us, because it's really huge. Hopefully, if you're watching this and you've never lost a pet, you will never need this information. But please put this information in your back pocket, because this is something that you hope you never need, but you may. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, I think it's something you can do even just to start. Let's say your pet isn't feeling well. This is an exercise you can do to fill them up when they're not feeling well. If you just want to, anytime you just want to fill them with positivity, you can do this as a foster parent. You can do this to connect with the animals that you've happily adopted out, but you're still feeling a little lost. You can send them that love. But the key is to fill yourself up first. It's like they say on an airplane, put your own mask on first. That's essentially what you're doing by picturing that beautiful, happy moment. And the moment can change. That's what's so great. Maybe one time you want to use your wedding, and the next time you want to use, when you got your job. It's up to you. But you fill up your emotions, and you fill it up from toe to your head. And then you fill up the balloon, and then you let it out towards them. And you can even do this with your friends. You can do this with people. All about just allowing that energy outward.
That is so beautiful. Thank you so much, Nancy, for sharing your knowledge with us today and for walking us through that amazing exercise. So, Nancy Mello, how can people find you? What is your website?
You can reach me at nancymello.com. That's NancyMello.com. On Instagram, it's Nancy Mello Official. TikTok, nancy.mello. So pretty easy.
Sweet. Okay. And tell us about the free gift that you have for everyone that is watching today.
So the free gift is just a similar meditation to what I let through. Maybe I won't add the broccoli in. If you
I love that. I love broccoli, but
selling the fresh broccoli, but it is a similar meditation to get you grounded, to get you relaxed, and to help you find yourself in a space that you can help your pet, whether they are missing or ill. Regardless, it's to get you, it's just a download, and it's a meditation that you can do on your phone. Really easy to just have anytime, just to help yourself reconnect.
Thank you. And you guys, anyone who wants to connect with Nancy through her website and grab that free gift, all the links and information are going to be right below this video. Please check it out. Nancy Mello, thank you so much for being part of this summit. We really appreciate and honor all the work that you're doing. And I really pray that you continue to have great success. Thank you so much for being here and shining your light on this summit.
Thank you so much for having me.